Hey everyone, Shanox here, and in this video I will go over 4 games of Assassination Rogue Discipline Priest. The 4 games happened around 2.5 MMR, and I believe the last one was even a bit closer to 2.6. Anyways, I picked those 4 games because I think they are interesting, so I hope I'm not mistaken. Regarding my gear, I'm having the same gear as I had in my last video. I've had no upgrades in the vault, so my item level is pretty decent. But I have a bit less than 11% haste. Again, if you want to play Assassination and you can have more haste, go for it. It's a great stat, and I really would need more. Regarding my talents, I won't go over them again, just showing. This is what I use most of the time. In some matchups, very early I pick this for gap closer, and sometimes when there is no slow I pick this for more damage, like against the Shadow Priest. But most of the times I just go with this. And the conduits I use, the most important ones are Septic Shock and well-placed Steel. The rest does not matter as much. Alright, now I'll leave you with the games. In this first game we're fighting Shadow Priest Destruction Warlock. We want to go for the Shadow Priest, so I'll sub the lock and the Priest will use Fade. I want to garrote through Fade, because you can silence through Fade, to give my Priest time to get away so he doesn't get feared or silenced or stunned, and then I'll kidney the Shadow Priest off Fade, Vendetta, apply my dots, and kill him after Dispersion. Clear Kidney, Vendetta, immediately he uses Dispersion. We have Mind Game so he doesn't heal. I'm applying all my dots, Sepsis, Shiv, and I'll Envenom after Dispersion, right here. Now Sepsis is going to fall, which will give me access to Garrote, Silence, and Cheap Shot, so I can Garrote the lock and Cheap Shot him without having to re-stealth. That way we're on 2v1 against the Priest. And, well, next kidney he's going to die, because his Battlemaster Trinket will fall off. So they could have used Life Swap here, but we still had Blind, Vanish, my Priest had every single cooldown. So if you have that kind of opener where you just CC him, you win the game. Second game is about Restoration Shaman, Arms Warrior. This was actually a very long game. We went to, I think, 60% dampening. So you can try to kill the Shaman if you want, but past a certain point in dampening you will need to kidney the warrior, otherwise your priest will be in too much trouble. So here I chose to use Vendetta despite the Astral Shift, because I knew that the warrior would come and peel for me, and this is the kind of matchup where you want to be ahead on damage, you want to have more pressure than they have, and you want to force them on the defensive. Because if they are allowed to play the game they want and to just train you and do damage, you will end up losing. Also yes, as Assa you have the range slow, so in that kind of matchup there is no freedom because it's not a Holy Pala. So make sure you use your slow to kite the warrior as much as possible. Here step kidney, and I lined the warrior so he couldn't charge to force a leap, because a leap has a longer cooldown, so it's more valuable to force him to leap than to charge. So right here, I'm just trying to line the warrior as much as possible. My dots are dealing damage. We're not too bad on mana. I can hit the Shaman a bit, so as long as I line the warrior, I'm safe. Eventually he will reconnect, like he does here. But the longer you can have without the warrior hitting you, the better you are. So I kidneyed here because he used his Aura Mastery, so my priest was about to get hexed and I couldn't kick it. Now I kick hex, so my priest is free. And then now we can line because it was over. He actually trinketed because he didn't have time to line, but it is still fine because my cooldowns are rotating back up. I have evasion again, so I'm not really in danger. So as you can see, we're facing Shaman Warrior, which is a really good comp, and we're having a decent amount of pressure as Assassination Discipline Priest. We forced both trinkets. I don't know if you noticed, I used the DR blind because I wanted him not to trinket, thinking it was DR, so it was fine, and I could maybe have killed the warrior with a big Envenom here, but he didn't take the bait and used his trinket on blind, which is exactly what he should have done. I cloaked Lava Burst here because my priest is in CC and we're kind of behind at that moment in the game, so I needed to avoid as much damage as possible. Right here, we force Spirit Link. It's good, because now they don't have any major defensive cooldown available, but we don't have any either, so the situation is a bit tense. I vanished here because my priest was still in CC, and it's a matchup you don't want to fall behind on damage this late in dampening because it's so hard for the priest to heal you up, so if you can avoid damage instead of healing it, you have to do it. So right now, we've had our Vendetta on the warrior, so that was a really big push. And as you can see, the Shaman has no mana, so we're actually even on mana as this Rogue versus Shaman Warrior. Well, this is great. So at this point, I'm going to blink again and kidney him, because the warrior is on stun DR, and I don't want to waste kidney. The plan here is just to live, because since we have the dots, if we can prevent the warrior from having too much uptime, we're eventually going to win the game. But since like no healers have mana here, it's very, very important to avoid taking damage. This is the most important thing. I'm even keeping blind for the warrior at this point. Banning the Shaman serves no purpose as he has no mana anyway. So yeah, like I can kidney warrior, and if he trinkets, I can blind to buy us some time. Which is, I think, what I'm going to do here, yeah. Blinded the Stormbolt. So now my priest can actually recover a bit. I can apply my dots on the Shaman. And then when I go back on warrior, I will have dots on Shaman to gain more energy. And the Shaman is also a bit in danger, right? He has no mana, only 50% health. He could die too. Cloak for the Shaman damage. I have Vanish back here. It is very important. I will have to Vanish to stay alive. As I said, you just want to use your stuff to avoid as much damage as possible at this point. They are very low, 60% dampening. It's very hard to heal people. Kidney, silence, and here we should kill. This third game is against Salty Rogue Discipline Priest. I thought it was an interesting game because it really shows the damage difference between Assassination and Salty. Salty is about control and burst windows, but you have so much damage at Assassination that you can just win the matchup if you do your damage correctly and if you manage to avoid their setups. So here they open on my priest. I cheap-shotted the priest to be able to kidney the rogue, and we get his trinket because he's trying to kill my priest. My priest barely survives, but now that we have lived the opener, we have the rogue trinket, we have more damage, we have dots on both targets. It's already looking very, very good. If the rogue wants to go stealth here, it is fine. If you can avoid it, but here it's completely fine because we're allowed to just PV the priest. Here you can note that I'm very careful not to walk behind the pillar, because if I lost my priest and get kidneyed, I will have to trinket or die, and I don't want to waste trinket that way. Here, they want to fear me and kill my priest, which is pretty obvious, so my priest will just dome himself as soon as I get feared. And he domes the opener, which is great. So at this point, you want to keep the dots on both targets as much as possible. Again, the rogue has no trinket. You have more damage, you have a bigger mortal strike assassination. If you keep doing damage on the both of them, and if you keep preventing them from killing the priest, well, you just win the game through damage in dampening. Look at the mana. The enemy priest is 50% mana already, and my priest is about 70%. Blind priest, Guinea rogue, maybe force trinket from the priest here, and we got it. The rogue is still very low, so I decided to vanish to corrode the priest, and unfortunately the rogue shadow steps just as I press smoke bomb, which is very unfortunate. Anyway, we still have advantage here. Dots on all targets. The mana of the enemy priest is looking terrible. 16%. We're almost at 50. And the priest has no trinket. The rogue trinket does not matter much at this point, because my priest has pain sub and barrier. At this point, both of them are low, they are out of mana, the enemy priest will die next kidney shot and we'll just win the game. Look at details, look at the damage difference, it's just crazy how sub is right now. And he's dead. This last game is against Windwalker Monk and Restoration Druid. This is a very frustrating matchup between the Disarm from range, the Sap, the Vortex, the Cyclones, the Thorns. You will not be playing too much. Meanwhile, the Windwalker will have 100% uptime on your healer, which is a bit annoying. Here, he's using Fleshcraft. This is CC immunity, so I'm waiting 4 seconds to open because I don't want to waste the crowd control ability in the CC immunity. So here he uses Thorns, so I have to go Windwalker. I'm using Invasion, and it just hit me for 50% of my health anyway. So yeah, in this matchup, as you can see, if I stay on the Windwalker, we get cleaved, and the Restoration Druid is healing for like he's freecasting and he can go drink whenever he wants, and he can Thorns the Windwalker. But if I go Druid, he's in bear form, he also has Thorns, he can root me, clone me, so whoever you choose to attack, this will not be an easy game, and you will spend a lot of time in CC. So it's all about getting the trinket from either of them, and once you have one of the trinkets, then you have a kill opportunity. So here I'm kind of forcing the Windwalker to come and peel because I'm dealing enough damage on the Druid and he doesn't manage to heal it that much. So now the Windwalker is here, I'm dotting him up. Well, Cyclone as I said. Now stun. I trinketed God and blinked in the Vortex. I actually didn't see it. I don't know if he dropped it just as I blinked or if he dropped it before, but I just didn't see it at the time. Trying to catch a re-stealth here. Obviously, for some reason I'm not dropping combat, and now he just throws lightning at me, so and disarm. Incap as I run to the druid into full cyclone. As I said, it's a very frustrating matchup, so you just need to be patient and seize the opportunity when you have it. You need the monk here, and he trinkets because he has a lot of damage on my priest. He has Xuan up, which is his most important offensive cooldown, so now we can kill the monk, right? Because he has no trinket, I have Vendetta, I have Smoke Bomb, I have Sepsis. Basically, I have all my damage, so I just need my priest to stay alive a bit. So here I'm going to blind the monk to allow my priest to survive, and off this blind, we're going to kill him in Smoke Bomb. Here, evasion as my priest is in Cyclone to stay alive long enough for us to go. Now my priest is ready. Kidney, Smoke Bomb, Vendetta, and we kill him. I vanished here to re-cheap shot before he could karma me, because if he had used karma here, he would be alive, by the way. At the end of kidney shot, vanish into cheap shot so he can't karma.